Another
Hey.
episode professional.
Yeah.
We had it, baby. We made it. We made it.
We did it, Joe.
Yeah. I don't know if Joe gonna do it again, but yeah, you're right. We
He
did it.
ain't doing it again.
Yeah. Ain't that something? That's what it's looking like.
One term poppy. But
May kill the whole thing if you ask me, but that's another thing.
yeah.
Anywho, we are thankful to have you guys back. As usual, we are here, to have a moment of gratitude.
Yeah.
Damn it. You know what? I think I had one, but I think I'm going to change it. I am grateful for my faith in the fact that, we might be going to hell in a handbasket. And I don't know if it's a coping mechanism or if I just always have the belief that everything is going to work out in my favor, in our good, and that, any storm can be weathered. You know, there are a lot of, I mean, there's anxiety on different levels, but I am thankful there's just a certain level that I haven't reached because it's not in me. Like, I feel like, who's in me is a little bit stronger than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful for that because times are real spooky. So yeah,
I hear that. I feel like once you have faith, you are covered.
yeah,
Like, you're just covered. It's all gonna work out.
yeah.
You just may not see how it's gonna work out.
Uh-huh. Say
That's
that.
the thing, but you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So once you have that faith, everything really um, pans out how it's
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Amen.
Um, as for me, my gratitude is pretty straightforward. I'm just grateful for the new year.
Hmm.
Child, I was tired of 2023. That last quarter, I was so over it. I was like, okay, you are on my neck.
Oh,
You right on my neck. You not
right there.
letting me breathe.
Right there.
So I was
I
ready for
agree.
2024.
And let me tell you, as quickly as 2023 went, you're right. It was time for her to go. Pack her bags and leave calm. Leave real calm. Leave real cute. Don't make a scene. No one has to know when you exit the group chat.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
I agree. I like even numbers anyway, so I was ready for it.
Odd numbers are so odd. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
why are you here?
Who invited you?
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Mm,
It's like
mm,
that one
mm.
coworker you have to put up with because they're part of the whatever. But like, we had a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anywho, let's get into our topic.
Yeah.
I feel like with the new year and everything like that, people make their lists. They have their New Year's resolutions. Everyone wants to hit the ground running, and I had came across something in it, and it like kind of struck me. They were like, we're not supposed to like be making big plans in the cold. That's when things are like, brewing and supposed to be, it's not a time of harvest, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's when you're supposed to like sit down, be calm, like kind of like take inventory, and wait for that, you know, life to be anew again. Like everything is like dead in the winter. And it's kind of like, ooh, okay, you got to just kind of sit and be still for a little bit. And I think we kind of touched on this in one of our older episodes where it's kind of like people don't know, or some people don't know, how to be by themselves, with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is a good time. So let's talk about it.
Absolutely. I think it's a great time. There is no time than this time
Mm-hmm.
to just sit
Mm-hmm.
in their silence. I I just truly feel people are just not comfortable with their own thoughts. they're not comfortable with where they are in their lives. And
Mm.
sitting with that is just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Um, I don't feel like people, and I'm just generalizing here, I don't feel like people like to process those negative feelings and really get to the other side. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Many people would prefer distractions, um, and not necessarily healthy distractions. It's like,
Those aren't fun.
yeah, exactly. Let's just party here and drink here and maybe
Yeah.
smoke here and
Yeah.
just book a ticket to say we went to this country, and
Yes.
not having to really take a step back and say, what do I really want in my life? Or why am I not happy? Or why am I always trying to do something?
Always doing the most.
Doing the most when you need to be sitting down.
Yes. Yes.
um, so I it's crucial for everyone just to take that moment and sit with their thoughts.
Yeah. I was also online, and I want to say it was Tia Mori. She's recently divorced and everything like that, and she had made a post that this was like one of the first times in her life. And she's already clearly in her 40s, so you
Mm-hmm.
know it can happen at big ages, even though 40 is not that old. I have to tell myself.
It's not.
I'm on the other side of 30. um because she's been a twin her whole life, so she's always had her sister there, people who come from families who's always been there. Maybe if you've always had a roommate, whether in college and transitioned, and maybe you were always in a relationship and then you got married and you had kids, and you never really had time to yourself. Like sitting on the toilet and taking a shower is not enough. Your little drive to wherever you're going is not enough because you're still distracted, you're doing something else. And I guess she didn't have her kids one weekend, and it was just her in her home. And let me tell you,
Mm.
that can be scary, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not doing something, you're not catering to someone, you're not distracted, like you said. And it's like, whoa. Sometimes you don't even realize who you are because you have so many different roles and you are so many different things to different people that you're like, who am I? You know what I mean? I feel like sometimes when whether it's like icebreakers or whatever, and people are like, so tell us about yourself. If you're not listing your titles, you know what I mean? Or the things you like to do, who are you really? Like, can you really genuinely answer that question?
Many people can't.
I ain't gonna front, sometimes I struggle. I'm like, who the fuck?
Yeah. You know, yeah, many people can't.
Yeah,
I think it's important for us to remember that a nurse, I am a nurse,
right,
but I don't fully identify my whole being as a nurse. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
I, I feel that is what a lot of people do. So when you shred all those responsibilities, as you were saying, it's like, who am I?
Right, right.
I feel that for me, when I moved out, that was one of the best times for me to sit in my silence,
Mm,
because now I'm separated from my
yeah,
immediate family,
right.
and I had time to think as someone who's not just a daughter or a sister.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to think like, who am I? What do I like to do? What does my inner child want right now?
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I feel like my first year living on my own, I rediscovered myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoy, and I really went on dates by myself.
Oh,
Yeah, I enjoyed going to concerts by myself. I enjoyed going to the,
really?
yeah. I would I yeah, I enjoyed going to concerts by myself. I enjoyed going to the
Hmm.
movies by myself. I
Right,
met dope people along the way
right.
doing these things by myself, but I learned so much about myself and what I truly enjoy, and I really found out who I am and who I'm trying to be
Mm-hmm.
just living alone with no roommates, not even a cat or a dog, literally just like just focusing on me.
Yeah,
And then when I go visit my family, I go back into my family roles as that daughter,
yeah,
that sister, but coming here in my little humble abode, um, it's like, who am I when I'm
yeah.
here?
Right.
Who am I?
I find like a lot of women, especially, um, that they have really honed in on their peace and their world when they have either moved away or just moved by themselves.
Hmm.
So clearly, that is not my reality. But I think, it definitely, I think you have to fight a little bit harder for it,
Hmm.
but it's necessary. You know what I mean? Because it also, like, for, let's say, someone like me who's a mom now, you're leaving an impression because it's not like you can just, like, be by yourself, do your thing, mess up, and it kind of has no consequences outside of yourself. It does. Because them people are sponges. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
you also want to set a good example, like, whether it's your autonomy or respecting yourself in your space and trying to establish who you are, being sure with it and being happy with it. You know what I mean? It's not easy. I don't know, but I think it's not something to shy away from.
No, it's not something we should shy away from. I do feel like it's easier for us to shy away from it.
Yeah.
Just rediscovering ourselves and sitting in that silence and really focusing on what we want and not focusing on what others want from us or the expectations
Yeah.
out of others. Um,
Right.
I think that's a daunting task for people.
It is.
And really battling or confronting their demons is something that it's unnerving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. And even if it's in like the littlest ways, like I know for there was a time, before I was a mom or whatever, like I had this one coworker, every time I saw him, he's like, "All right, so where are you coming from or where are you going?" Cuz I was always booked. You know what I mean, for a
Hmm.
flight. And it's like, yes, it's a great time, but like real life is happening and real responsibilities are happening. And it's like, is it because like I don't have to be out here doing whatever? Or even if it's like, oh, are you brunching with your girls? Are you doing this? Are you do like I don't know what. Like I'm live like in people's minds, I think it's like this jet setter, like I'm living this greatness or whatever. But I'm not about to be that for someone and have crazy credit card bills. Like or I need to discover like why do I feel like people see me that way? Is that a way I want to be perceived? Why? You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
you have to do that kind of thing, especially when you are like, in certain groups and you're that one. Why is that? Do you feel like you need to fit or fill a certain role for people to feel worthy, acceptable, all these things to be
Hmm.
seen, to be seen. I mean, in every one way or another, all of us want to be seen and heard but for who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that people need to um, grapple with and figure out. Um, so that the people that are around you, that one, that you love you,
Mm-hmm.
and the people around you do, but if they don't, then being your authentic self, you will find those people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting how people perceive
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people. Um, like even when I meet someone for the first time who just only known me on Instagram, they're like, "Oh, you're just this like traveler and you live this
Mm-hmm.
fun life." And I'm like,
Right.
"Okay, yeah, but this is social media too." I'm only sharing like
Yeah.
the fun aspects of my life.
Right. This is not my diary.
Yeah, you're not seeing those moments when I am sitting in that silence, trying to figure out how to evolve as a person.
Yeah.
So I do feel like social media definitely masks a lot of those things too as well.
Yeah.
So,
It really does.
hmm. But I do hope for people out here in
Mm-hmm.
2024 that they really start confronting those demons. I hope people do try to sit in that silence and really, for those who have battled with it and struggle with it,
Right.
um, I do hope that people really sit by themselves and just say, what do I want? Who am I? Have no distractions
Yeah.
and just sit with yourself. Because that's the only way to grow.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
It's hard to really do those kind of things if you're not willing to see the good, bad, and ugly. Um, and we're all flawed humans, so it's not like, oh my gosh, you're that much worse than the other person. You just don't see what the other person's going through. Or, you're just seeing the other side of it, them coming through. Like, sometimes those happy people are the ones who really done went through some things.
Let's not even talk about that. I am usually on edge when I have a patient who say they are suffering with depression or
Hmm.
anxiety, but they're making all these jokes and they're laughing and they have this smile on their face and everything's okay. Those are my red flags. Those are my most high risk patients because they mask everything to everyone. My ones who are more forthcoming, the ones
Yeah.
who are just like, yeah, I'm sad, I'm down, I've been self-harming myself, alarming,
Right.
but they're forthcoming.
Yes.
um I can easily get them an action plan, whereas the ones who kind of mask it like that and like it's all okay and the parents
You-
kind of look confused like,
Baby, you have to work through all that delusion first.
yeah, my parents are like, I don't see the problem here. So, it's difficult to see that with all the smiles and jokes, and those are the ones that really makes me nervous. And we, that's why I say we need to peel those onions,
You're
peel
right.
off those layers.
You're right. Because I think about, like, I have, some patients whose parents, when their kids get that cancer diagnosis, and they're like, no, they just hurt themselves. No, they're bruised. Can't be. They try to
Mhm.
explain it away some other way. And because I want to say I get it, I don't, but to grapple with the reality, because sometimes it feels like, when they say, when you know better, you got to do better. And I think admitting things and coming to terms with the truth of things means now you have to act on it. And that takes a level of strength and bravery a lot of people have not mustered yet.
No.
You know what I mean? And they rather shut it down. It's still happening. Let's not make any mistake. These things are still going to happen.
Yeah.
They're just not willing to deal with it.
Yeah.
and it only makes it worse for everybody because now you got to tiptoe around, but I still got to tell you the truth. And now your kid's feeling sick, and you're because you don't want to accept the truth, you're not allowing them to accept the truth. So now they're feeling things, and it's almost like this cognitive dissonance where
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling this, but because you're telling me it's not this, I can't make sense of the two. Who wins?
No one.
That's why sometimes I don't know. I find it hard to deal with people who don't like to live in reality because even when the truth is ugly, okay, now it's a starting point because I know what I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? I
I
know
mean,
people cope differently, but I just can't.
I mean, sitting in silence is reality. Sitting in silence is truth.
Yeah.
It's just a muscle we need to all work on.
Yeah. That's
We
true.
need to handle the truth better.
Yep. As a people, as a society, as a country, child.
We need to handle the truth. Point
That's
blank
when
and
the healing
simple.
starts. Yeah.
And we rather just be in our own world, create our own reality.
Yeah.
We like to create our own reality than really coming to terms with the reality. Um,
Yes.
and that's what sitting in silence is all about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all about sitting still and let God just take it over. But
Yeah.
I ain't
Yeah.
trying to get too preachy, but.
But I think that's what some people miss, when they might, talk about an Ashley or a Lou. It's because we know the truth of things or we know that it will come to fruition one way or another. So I'm not going to be stressed about it. It's not something I can control. And that's why I'm just going to be, kind of like back to the happy in my gratitude and having faith that
Look at
it's all
that.
good.
Look at that. Look at that.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah. So, some people might see it as like, I mean, they're going to say how they're going to see it, whatever. Um, but like, that's why it's like, we can be okay in things. And that's why, it doesn't have to be full of distractions. We could be sitting in a corner, girl, with a
Mm-hmm.
gin and tonic and having one of the best nights of our lives somewhere holed up in Queens. I don't have to be in Dubai to have a good old time. I don't have to be, even though I love a beach, I don't have to be there to, enjoy life and be grateful or happy. And I don't know. I don't know. I think because when you kind of do the work, you do end up seeing the beauty in the little things,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah,
Everything doesn't have to be grandiose or for the gram kind of moment.
it doesn't. The most beautiful things is usually off social media. You know,
I agree.
the most beautiful things are the ones that you can't really even capture. Like you can't even put. There are those nights that you was like, well, at least back in the day,
You
especially
have
when
to be there.
you had to just be there. We can't pick up the camera or the phone. You just had to be there.
Sitting in
Those,
silence is a vibe.
what happened?
Sitting in silence is a vibe.
It is a vibe.
Yeah.
It is a vibe. And
Yeah.
y'all, I want everyone to catch that vibe too.
Yes. Y'all deserve it.
Yeah, because y'all
Y'all deserve
deserve.
Yeah.
Y'all
And I
deserve.
mean, it's not going to be easy for everyone because there are some things that even if we didn't want as a distraction, they are there and they make themselves there. But listen, if you have to sit in your car for that extra 20 minutes, trust me, I am part of that ministry. Do that.
There is something about car therapy. There is a thing called car therapy.
It's real.
Car therapy is so real.
Yes.
And I say this because I I don't have children as yet. I don't have a lot of ruckus or loudness inside
Yeah.
my home. But there's something about when I reach my apartment and I park, I have to take that 20-minute moment in the car and
Yes.
sit in silence.
Yes. The radio could be on. I don't even hear it. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm there.
Not a thing. Just sitting there.
Yep.
And that's a whole therapy.
Yes. And don't feel bad about it. Listen, sometimes I do it and the people aren't even home. They're
That's
not
so
even here. Okay? But clearly your body is saying you need it. So I'm gonna listen.
It's something about sitting in silence. Even when I go by my mom and I go in that driveway, I'm literally sitting there. And sometimes she'll like comes like look back
Uh-huh.
outside and look at me like,
Right.
and I just literally ignore her. I'm just like, because I need that moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, y'all know what we're talking about. Y'all know.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, y'all let us know your thoughts. Have y'all sat in y'all silence?
And what have you discovered?
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what have you guys discovered? And how has that changed you? Let us know your thoughts.
Yes.
All right. So till next time, everyone.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Take care.